Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to another Wild Rift video, and in today's video I'll be bringing you guys a Jinx video. I have a 65% win rate on Jinx, used to be 75, and I got you guys an absolute banger build. And see, the funny thing about this build is, oh by the way, in the beginning part of the video I'm gonna explain to you how to build Jinx. There's timestamps in the description for the gameplay. And you know you wanna see the gameplay when it's my Jinx, guys. I'm just telling you. So the thing about Jinx build is, this is incredibly funny because the build that I have right here, you might recognize it. I'm pretty sure this is the default build that the game gives you, or that the game gave us, like almost a year ago. When the game came out, I'm pretty sure this was the default Jinx build. And that's what I find so funny and so hilarious about it. But the thing is, oh my god, this build is strong. So let's talk about it. By the way, during this video, I'm also going to be addressing the issues with yesterday's videos because I made a little mistake and I'll talk about it, okay? So first, let's talk about how to build Jinx. It's going to be real quick, by the way. So this is the full crit build. Yeah, first I'll talk about the reason behind this build, because there are different builds that you can go for, but I've really fell in love with this build. So let me tell you the reason. First of all, when you go for this build, you want to have a Lulu with your side. Lulu makes Jinx 20 million times stronger, especially with this build. And the reason for that is because you have two attack speed items. You have Runan's Hurricane and a Rapid Fire Cannon. So a lot of attack speed means proccing Lulu's passive more often. Means that this build goes with Lulu, guys. So keep that in mind. So you also have the Blade of the Rune King build. The Blade of the Rune King build is basically the same as this, but you start with the Blade of the Rune King. That build is good if the enemy has a lot of tanky champions. You want to be going for this build if your objective is killing the squishies, or if the enemy just doesn't have a proper front line. Because what this build is going to do is going to absolutely demolish the squishies. Like demolish. You won't even see anyone deal as much damage as Jinx with this build in the late game against squishies. I'm going to repeat, against squishies. So you start with an Infinity Edge. You go for the Glutinous Griefs. And you don't get a stasis enchant immediately. Don't get it here. Get the Runan's Hurricane right after your Infinity Edge, and then you have to decide, do I need a stasis? If you're against a Zed or a Fizz, get a stasis. If not, then just keep going for the Rapid Fire Cannon, because you already have a Lulu. You don't need a stasis early on. You can also get QSS, or Quicksilver Enchant, the one that takes away CC, right? If you're against heavy CC champions like Ashe, Varus, Thresh, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like the heavy CC champions that will like stun lock you for 2 seconds or something. Get the Quicksilver Enchant against those, so you can actually take that stun away. So as I said, your third item is going to be Rapid Fire Cannon. And now keep in mind that at this point you have Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire Cannon, and Runan's Hurricane. What does this mean? This means 0 armor penetration and 0 bonus damage equal to the enemy's max HP. Now what does that mean? If the enemy has a Garen with 2 armor items, you're going to be dealing absolutely 0 damage to him, even when you have 3 items. So that's what you have to keep in mind when going for this build. I'm not telling you that this build is broken. However, if you're with a Lulu and the enemy is squishy, this build is completely, utterly broken. And I'm going to show you exactly how to play this build. So after that, as your 4th item, you go for the, what is that item called? Mortal Reminder. Yeah, Mortal Reminder. Don't go for Serilda's Grudge. Your rockets do not proc Serilda's Grudge, so I do not want to see any Serilda's Grudges on Jinx. The thing is, this item called Storm Razor, you know, the item that allows you to stack up and then slow the enemy, is actually quite powerful on Jinx. But I've tested. Runan's Hurricane is just better. It's just so much better. So, you know, I know Storm Razor is also a good item on Jinx, but it just doesn't fit with this build. All this build is about is just to deal an incredible amount of damage with your rockets especially, and you'll see during the gameplay. So yeah, after your Mortal Reminder, I would always go for Guardian Angel. I just personally always go for Guardian Angel because you know, it gives you armor, but just the Guardian Angel, it's so important because you already have a lot of survivability with Lulu, but if you're caught off guard with a lot of burst damage, you have the Guardian Angel to save your ass, right? And then on top of that, you're likely gonna have the Stasis or the QSS. So for your runes, you go for Conquer. Second rune, Hunter Vampirism. Make sure you take Hunter Vampirism, because with this build you only have the Glutinous Griefs, which gives you 8% Vampirism, but when you get Hunter Vampirism, you're gonna get another like 7% on top of that when you've got all the stacks, and it also gives you a lot of attack damage. Make sure you get the Hunter Vampirism. It's better than Gathering Storm, it's better than Brutal. With this build, it's the perfect rune. For your third item, Hunter Titan. You know, you don't want to be chain locked down because you don't have any tenacity in this build. So make sure you get Hunter Titan so that enemies cannot actually stun lock you down. And for your fourth item, Sweet Tooth, because Sweet Tooth is broken. You do not go Mastermind on Jinx anymore. That was the old build. Why would you go for Mastermind? Of course, to steal objectives with the ultimate. But now, unfortunately, the ultimate doesn't deal as much damage to objectives anymore. So yeah, for your spells, you go for Flash and Shield. Let's now get into the gameplay. And again, apologies for the way that I'm showing this to you, but I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna get my phone back tomorrow, so then I can make normal videos again. So we got Jinx, but before we actually get into this game, I obviously have to address the elephant in the room. Yesterday's video. I made a meme video yesterday and I saw a lot of comments. You know, I just made the video and I was like, yeah, let's just make it like this. And a lot of comments were like, you were the support. You are Kai'Sa's support and Vayne was the ADC. You are the one trolling. Look, when I saw that, I was like, yo, you guys, how am I gonna explain this? So let me just tell you what happened. In draft, and this happens sometimes to me, right? Like the Vayne was just like, I'm gonna troll. You know, I'm gonna troll. I was like, why are you gonna troll? He said, yeah, because you're in the game. And this happens, you know, this happens. It doesn't happen often. It just happens a few times per week, you know, because I'm a content creator and stuff like that. Some people just troll for that reason, and you know, I'm used to that. So I was like the 4th or 5th pick, and Vayne was the 3rd pick. And I was like, man, I want to play Senna support. So the Vayne banned Senna, and he said, I'm gonna troll. He just, you know, he just picked Vayne. He had Smite and Heal or something, and he said that he was just gonna run it down, and he doesn't care. So instead of me picking a normal support, I picked Kai'Sa because he said that he was gonna run it down anyways. He banned my support and he had Smite and Heal. That's literally what happened. So I just picked Kai'Sa, you know, because maybe we can still 4 versus 5 the game. And see, the funny thing is, if our teammates would not have AFK'd, we would have actually won the game. Because the enemy was really, really bad. We had an incredibly good Olaf, but then the mid laner went AFK and the top laner went AFK. And so that's why I just made the video. It was just supposed to be a meme, and instead of explaining all of this in the video, I decided myself, for comedic purposes, to just make it like that, right? I just said support ran it down, but what I should have said is just the Vayne ran it down. You know, that was my mistake. I just, you know, I hope you understand why I just made the video like that, just for comedic purposes. That was the reason behind it. Then, you know, that's it. I put it in a pinned comment as well. I guess I should have just thought a bit more about it. You know, it was a mistake of me. I shouldn't have said it like that. I should have just brought the whole story in the video. It would have been a little more boring, but I should have still done that. That's my bad, guys. You know, thank you for calling me out on it, and I really appreciate you guys always, you know, being honest with me in the comments and also saying stuff like that. It's really important. Really, really important. So thank you so much. And, you know, I'll be more careful with, yeah, you know, just doing things like that for comedic purposes. Even though, you know, he was obviously trolling, I should have just mentioned that I was actually the support, but I picked ADC because he was gonna troll anyways, and you get the point. Enough about that. I hope that clears up everything, right? It's obviously nothing major, but still, I still want to talk about it because I saw some people with concerns in the comments and obviously don't like to see that. So yeah, thank you so much for bringing it up, and I hope that clears it up. So now let's talk about Jinx. Finally, we're 9 minutes into the video and we finally talk about the gameplay. So, as I said, Lulu Jinx. You know, I never play Jinx without Lulu, unless it's solo queue and I just really feel like playing Jinx. But if you really want to win with Jinx, play her with Lulu. And it's just a standard, honestly. You have to play Jinx with Lulu. She becomes infinitely better with Lulu. It's like like legit 2 times better, legit. A Jinx without a Lulu is so much worse than with a Lulu. And I shouldn't even explain to you why. It's obvious, right? It's just obvious. Lulu is basically made for Jinx. So first of all, you pick Jinx with Lulu if you want to increase your odds of winning by like 10% or something, maybe even 15%. It's something crazy like that. So after that, let's actually talk about how to play Jinx. So the early game, you're weak. As you can see right here, I am not really doing too much. Like, I'm just, you know, here you can see I'm actually getting bullied. We're getting bullied really hard in this lane, by the way. Yeah, like, yeah, you can clearly see Jinx is not an early game champion, and you have to be very careful in the early game But the thing is, it pays off massively in the late game. That's the way that Jinx works, guys. You have to understand that the way that the power spikes of Jinx work is she starts off really slow and really weak. This is a graph, by the way, with my hand. So she starts off really slowly, and then when you approach the mid game, when you get 1-2 items, it goes a bit more up like this, a bit more, you know, instead of going up slowly in the early game, it goes up by a lot. And when you approach the third item, you become really strong. And see, the funny thing is, fourth and fifth item, it becomes exponentially stronger. You become stronger and stronger and stronger with Jinx, up until the point that you should pretty much be able to beat anyone. When you have a Lulu, you will beat anyone. You don't even have to be good at Jinx to beat everyone with 5 items with a Lulu. Let me just tell you that. So keep that in mind, guys. At this point, like earlier on in the game, I got my Trinity Force power spike. That's why I'm actually taking this fight. See, normally at the first dragon, you're not gonna have the Trinity Force, and that is pretty much the only problem with this build, besides the fact that it has struggles against tanks. The problem with this build is during the first dragon, you're very likely not gonna have an item. You know, you're not gonna have Trinity Force, because Trinity Force costs 3500 gold, which is way too expensive, right, for the first dragon. So the way that you handle that is just play it safe. You know, sometimes it's just okay to leave the first dragon, or just, you know, just buy the components of the Infinity Edge and, you know, take the fight with a bit of a less power spike. Because the enemy dragon laner is very likely gonna have an item like Blade of the Rune King, maybe even Essence Reaver, you know, just an item, because everything is cheaper than Infinity Edge. And you're gonna be stuck with just the BF sword and then the crit, right? The 20% crit chance. It's not strong. It's not strong, as I said. You're still at this moment of Jinx where you haven't even approached the, you know, the strong part of Jinx. You're still very weak. Now obviously it compensates that you have Lulu with you, but still you have to be careful at that moment of the game. So here you can see the importance of Lulu. You saw that? If I would not have had a Lulu here, I would have just been dead. I'm pretty sure that no other support, well, maybe Nami would have saved me, but no other support would have just saved me that easily as Lulu. So that's why I just keep repeating that you really want to be picking Jinx with Lulu. And this game is going to be incredibly hard. This is going to be like a 20-minute game, and like you're going to see how, like, you know, you're just going to see how it goes. And we're against a very bullying matchup in lane, by the way, which is Ziggs and Senna. And honestly, this is really not what you want to be playing Jinx against, because this lane is going to demolish you. Other bullying examples are champions like Seraphim, Varus. Ooh, Varus is annoying, man. Ezreal could be annoying with Nami. Yeah, Nami is also a bullying champion. Like, these are the type of champions that are really, like, you have to be careful against them in the early game. Just relax in your lane. Do not try to look for too many trades. You know, it's okay to trade with your rocket and your second ability. These are pretty much the only things that you use in lane to trade. Very short trades as well. You do not want to be going for longer trades. As you can see, boom, just like that. Trade with the second ability because it has a very long range and it's just free damage, right? It's just really, really easy to hit. Boom, just like that. See that? That's what you want to do. It deals a lot of damage and it's just free. The second way you can trade is with your rocket. Now you cannot really trade against a Ziggs with your rocket because Ziggs has more range than you. But when you're against an Ezreal, Misfortune, Zaya, you know, these types of champions, you can actually trade with your rocket. You can just get in range for your rockets and just boom, shoot one rocket or maybe 2 rockets, maybe even 3 rockets. You can also combine this by first shooting a rocket and then your second ability. Just do it super fast, like rocket, second ability, boom, boom, just like that. I did it on 2 separate targets there, but you can also do it on the same target, of course. You shoot your rocket and then your second ability immediately. It deals really good poke damage, right? This is like, it's a really, really good way to do poke damage in your lane. But as you can see, I'm being very careful with staying in the fight for a bit longer. As you can see, I'm being very careful. And here I actually did stay for a bit longer, and you can clearly see that we're not having an easy time. Oh. Oh my god. Okay, let me just tell you that this was not good. This is just, you know, me being an absolute badass Jinx. And Lulu also did an amazing ultimate there under that turret. Like, what we did here should not have worked. Let me just tell you that this should not have worked. This was just... Let me tell you why this should not have worked. So, I told you earlier on in the video that you should not be looking for longer trades early on in the game. And you saw there that against a Senna and a Ziggs, like, they were clearly dealing way more damage than us. I was just, you know, I was critting. I had so much luck in that fight. Like, if you actually rewind the video, I had so many crits, and I only have like 40% crit chance. But I just had so many crits. It was lucky. It was just lucky crits. Let me just tell you that. And if I was not lucky there, I would have definitely lost that fight. Definitely. I would have just died, and Lulu would have died, and we would have both lost. But as I said, I was just a bit lucky with the crits. So now we've approached the point with second item Jinx. You can still see that, you know, I'm not really doing a lot of damage. You can quite obviously see that I'm still struggling with dealing damage. But at this moment, your rockets are gonna hurt. Like here, see that? Your rockets are gonna hurt on the squishies, but they're not gonna hurt on the bruisers like Pantheon or the enemy Camille, for example. And that's what you have to keep in mind. When you have two items, you're gonna be dealing an insane amount of damage to their back line, but not to their front line. Even if the front line is not a tank, even if the front line is just a Pantheon or a Camille, you are not gonna do a lot of damage to them. And you have to understand the weaknesses of this build to really fully play Jinx to her power. And this Zed just completely demolished them. Wow. This is what's really important. And this is how I have like a 65... I think I have a 65% win rate on Jinx. It used to be 75, by the way. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. But the real importance of playing Jinx is knowing what you can do and knowing what you cannot do. And now I have basically explained to you everything that you cannot do. Like the whole beginning of this video was what you cannot do, right? Early laning, destroying tanks with only 2 or 3 items with this build, doing long trades in the early game. These are the 3 things that you cannot do. Now let's talk about what you can do. You have insane poking in your lane with your rocket and your second ability. Once you've built the Runad's Hurricane, and once you've got the Glutinous Greaves and the stacks... Oh, let's take a look at this fight. Wait. No. We're gonna play this fight out, and then I'm gonna ask you guys to test your knowledge of the day. Okay. Oh, it went away. Test your knowledge. This one is gonna be very interesting. Did you guys notice anything that I just did that would have potentially helped me in the fight? Oh, this is a really hard one. Rewind the video, and if you get this one right, then you're gonna be you're a really smart player. Did you notice anything that I did as a little extra that just really helped me boost my damage here? Put it in the comments. Pause the video right now. Pause the video right now because I'm gonna reveal it in the chat here. Pause the video, put it in the comments. Test your knowledge. So let's see what I say. See, 300 IQ waiting turret, I say. So what do I mean with that? Now, what I'm gonna say here is a bit more advanced, but I still want to teach you guys about it. So, what is Jinx's passive? First of all, when you kill enemies or when you get an assist, you get a lot of bonus movement speed and attack speed. But this also applies on turrets. You know, here. By the way, take a look at the Camille. Look at how little damage I'm dealing to her. As you can see, even though I have 2 items, I have a really hard time killing the Camille. But let me get back to my point. So here, take a look at this. I'm taking the turret. Let's take a look. After you take a turret or after you assist taking a turret, here, you get a lot of movement speed and a lot of attack speed. So what does that mean? You become super buffed. So what did I do in that fight there? I saw the Pantheon ulting in. So there's 2 things that you can do. First, you can panic, and if you panic, nothing is gonna happen. Second, you can think. Okay, Pantheon is coming. The turret is at 800 HP or 600 HP. What am I gonna do? I took down the turret all the way down to 100 HP and then I waited. I waited for the perfect moment to take the turret and fully utilize the buff. Because the buff doesn't last for long. The movement speed and the attack speed buff, I think they last for like 2.5 seconds or something like that. So, you know, if I would have taken it a bit earlier, I would not have fully utilized the buff on the Pantheon and the other guy that was there, right? Oh, look at me. Yeah, this is just stupid. I got caught out. So yeah, I waited up until the final moment. Then I actually, I killed the turret. And I fully utilized the passive and I did a lot of damage to them. And this is just a bit advanced. Sometimes it can be really good to wait until you take the turret, because you can actually bait enemies in, and then when they come close to you, you take the turret and you get a lot of bonus movement speed, a lot of bonus attack speed, and you're gonna kill them. With that buff, you are gonna kill them. With that buff, you're gonna kill anyone, trust me on that. You're gonna kill absolutely anyone with that bonus attack speed and movement speed. It's insane how strong that buff is on Jinx. So let's talk about the passive a bit more, because I feel like this is something that's slightly underrated on Jinx. So I've already told you a scenario where the passive can be really good. Another scenario could be when you're team fighting, it can actually be, sometimes it can be good to just let your team do a little bit of damage and then you enter the fight. I don't recommend this often, because as a Jinx you can deal poke damage with your rockets, but in some scenarios I want to explain to you why it can be good to join the fight a bit later. So let's say the Riven goes in and he gets one of the enemies low, and our Riven gets killed. Then you come in with Jinx, use your rocket and finish off that enemy, and of course what's gonna happen, you're gonna get your passive. When you get your passive, you're gonna get a lot of attack speed and movement speed, and all you do is just spam the attack button. That's really all you do. Jinx is honestly not the hardest to play, but you just gotta play her the right way, guys. If you utilize that passive, utilize the rockets, you'll see in the late game how I do it. Like I'm talking about it right now, but you'll actually see me do it in the late game. 1 second, guys. Let's take a look. Ooh, the Infernal's up. Oh, by the way, when you get Rapid Fire Cannon, the game changes as well. Because then you always want to be starting fights like this, with your rockets. If you get a Rapid Fire Cannon, you start fights with your rockets. I'm getting caught. What's happening, man? Boom. This is too close. But you can see how much I'm healing up. I'm healing up so much because I have Hunt of Vampirism and Glutinous Greaves, guys. Oh my god. Oh, I missed my rocket. Ooh, easy slow with that second ability, guys. Look at that. Just look at that. Pfft. Jinx is just so broken. Like, I have 4 items right now, and at this point, the game is over. All you have to do is just make sure you and Lulu stick together, and you just win the game. You literally win the game at this point. It's so easy to win the game in the late game. All you have to do is just get to this point. Just get to it, and Jinx, peel me, please. I have no idea what the Lee Sin is trying to say, but all I need is my Lulu, and I don't need anything else. Ah, come on. Did I really have to do him dirty like that? Oh, let's take a look at this. I don't have energy, actually. I should go back. Oh, and this is also a thing that you want to do on Jinx when you reach the late game, by the way. When you have Runan's Hurricane, you're gonna take the enemy jungle in an instant. So when you're walking next to it, put a ward over the wall and just take it. Because it gives you like 150, 200 gold for free. What am I gonna get here? I'm pretty, I should be going for, did I really go? Ooh, Phantom Dancer. Oh, the reason that I went for Phantom Dancer in this game instead of Guardian Angel, this is a pretty special game, is because the enemy does not have an ADC. They have a Ziggs in the Dragon lane and an Evelynn jungle. So I was like, no, I don't need to get a Guardian Angel in this game, because they don't have any major attack damage. So only in a situation like this, where the enemy doesn't actually have an ADC, you can actually skip out on the Guardian Angel and go for Phantom Dancer, because Phantom Dancer is gonna deal more damage. Yeah, it's gonna deal more damage, and it works perfectly with Lulu because it gives you attack speed, which perfectly synergizes with Lulu. Yeah, I said just defend me and we just win the game. I'm level 15. I'm full build and I have a Lulu. There is no way. Just let's take a look. I'm making sure that I don't go too far. Don't get too ahead of yourself when playing Jinx. But just look at this. Look at the rockets. Look at the rockets. What the hell, man? Like, these enemies actually had no chance. Balanced, yeah. Very balanced in the late game. Very, very balanced. Jinx, very balanced in the late game, guys. So let's take a look. I can actually do it like this now because I'm watching it on YouTube. How much elo did I have here? I don't actually remember. Ooh. How much damage did I deal? So yeah, me and the Lulu. 41,000 damage. The Lulu is keys, by the way, and I played duo with him. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I apologize for the quality of this video. It's just, you know, I'm getting my phone tomorrow. But yeah. Thank you so much for watching. And I will see you all in the next Wild Rift video. Bye bye.